David, good to see you again. Talk to us about the immediate implications of this ruling on Prop 8. This is a case that you initially brought with Theodore Olson back in 2009. A victory for you and effectively for your clients, if I can describe them as such today. But how's it going to play out?
Well, the first thing is that my clients are going to go back to California and get married. And the second thing is that everyone in California is now free to marry the person that they love. The next step is to be sure that this marriage equality is extended to every one of the 50 states. The United States Supreme Court made clear today that you have a right to marry, that there is no basis for discrimination. And the DOMA decision, that's a companion case to our marriage equality case, makes absolutely clear that on a principled basis, there is no justification for depriving gay and lesbian citizens of the right to marry the person they love.
David, you sound awfully certain that same-sex marriage or the right to same-sex marriage will become the law of the land. If the Supreme Court wanted it that way, why didn't it rule that way?
Well, they did rule that way to some extent in the DOMA case. In the marriage equality case, because marriage equality doesn't harm anybody, the proponents of Proposition 8 didn't have standing. And without standing, the Supreme Court was unable to reach the merits. There were certainly justices, I think, who would have liked to have reached the merits. But under established constitutional doctrine, they could not reach the merits. But as every justice on the court, I think, expressed, and Justice Scalia, even though he disagreed with the majority opinion, he recognizes that the majority opinion in DOMA establishes a right to marry in every one of the 50 states.
David, what is your next step in the legal battle here to take this and make it legal in all 50 states?
Well, the first step, as I say, is to let our clients get married and to enjoy the moment. And then tomorrow we'll sit down and we'll figure out what is the way to most quickly bring marriage equality to all 50 states.
Well, what are some of your options there, David? Clearly, it would be difficult for you alone, or you and your partner in this particular case, Mr. Olson, to bring cases in all of the states, there being, 36 or 35 or 36 that don't have same-sex marriage laws. How could you and people who are aligned with you in this effort make that happen quickly?
Well, remember, Ted and I have never been alone. There are people all over this country that are litigating these issues. There are enough people who believe in marriage equality to bring that issue to every state in this country. And hopefully what you will find is that after today's opinion, states will voluntarily adopt marriage equality.
David, what is going on behind you? We can't actually see it all. Could you describe to us the scene outside the Supreme Court there?
Well, there's just a great joy and excitement here. There are people singing songs and congratulating themselves, and some of them crying with joy. People who have come up to me as I walked over here saying now they're going to get married. People who have had the United States Supreme Court vindicate in ringing tones their equality. People who now feel that their nation no longer discriminates against them as citizens or against their children. So it's a great day. It's a great day for our clients. It's a great day for everyone who wants to marry the person they love. And it's a great day for America because we have moved a huge step closer to the day when we will really fulfill the promise of our Declaration of Independence, that all people are created equal and that all people have an inalienable right to the pursuit of happiness.
David, you're a student of the Supreme Court. You've argued many cases before the court. What does it say to you that Chief Justice Roberts was the deciding vote on Prop 8 and wrote for the majority?
I think what that does is it recognizes, as Ted and I have said, that this is not a conservative or liberal issue. This is not a Republican or Democratic issue. This is a human rights issue, a civil rights issue, a constitutional rights issue. And Justice Roberts, the Chief Justice, everyone has an important stake in those principles. And so I think that one of the things that demonstrates is what Ted and I have been saying from the beginning, which is that we have been brought together because we both believe in constitutional rights. He's a conservative Republican, I'm a liberal Democrat, but we all come together on the grounds that you need to have protection of individual freedom. That is a conservative principle, it's a liberal principle, it is something that all Americans can come together on. And I think you saw that in the Supreme Court today. And that's why I say it's just a great day for America.
But to your point about constitutionality, what does it say to you that the court wasn't willing to reach the arguments that you made that Prop 8 was unconstitutional?
Well, they were prepared to reach that issue in the DOMA case where there was standing. What we said from the beginning, and what I think is pretty clear under the court's precedents, is that the proponents never had standing. Now, the fact that the court agreed with us that there was no standing is important, not only because it means we won, but it's also important because it demonstrates that there is no harm to anyone that comes from marriage equality. The reason the proponents of Proposition 8 did not have standing was because the court held that none of them suffered any injury. And if you think about it, that's really the heart of the debate. If none of them suffer any injury as a result of marriage equality, there's no legitimate state interest in discriminating.
David, how long do you think it's going to take, going back to the issue we were discussing just a couple of minutes ago, how long do you think it's going to take before every American who wants to enter a same-sex marriage has the same rights that are about to be returned to your clients in California?
It took us about 4 years from filing the Proposition 8 case to get this decision. And I think that if you're looking at a reasonable timeline, Chad Griffin of the Human Rights Campaign said earlier his goal was 5 years. I think that's a realistic goal.